Hello, Waterloo Region. You're listening to Meet the Candidate on CKMS-FM 102.7 Radio Waterloo. My name is Bob Jonkman. In this episode, we meet Kevin Dupuis, PPC candidate for Kitchener Conestoga. In Meet the Candidate, Radio Waterloo provides 25 minutes of free airtime to Waterloo Region candidates running in the 2025 federal election. This is not an interview, but 25 minutes of unstructured time. Candidates could tell you about their platform, the local Waterloo Region issues they'll be tackling, why they're running, or what they do outside of politics. Note that the views expressed are not necessarily those of the Radio Waterloo Board of Directors, volunteers, sponsors, or advertisers. Now, let's meet the candidate, Kevin Dupuis.
Thanks, Bob. My name is Kevin Dupuis. I'm the People's Party of Canada candidate for Kitchener-Conestoga. And first of all, I'd like to thank Bob Jonkman and CKMS-FM Radio 102.7. This is a wonderful opportunity and greatly appreciated. The People's Party of Canada, I'm running because the Canadians are tired of a two-party system where we switch between Liberals and Conservatives, yet nothing changes. The PPC is different. We stand for less government, lower taxes, and putting Canadians first. The People's Party of Canada stands for religion, responsibility, fairness, and respect. 4 principles that put Canadians first. We believe in limited government, lower taxes, and ending wasteful spending. While the old parties keep growing the bureaucracy and selling out to our global interests, the PPC puts Canada and Canadians at the heart of every one of their policies. We're the only party that defends your freedom of speech, bodily autonomy, and parental rights. We oppose the carbon tax, fight inflationary deficits, and call for real solutions to housing and healthcare without more government control. We don't pander, we tell the truth. And we believe Canadians are smart enough to make their own choices without being micromanaged by Ottawa. If you're tired of the same broken promises from the Liberals and the Conservatives, the PPC offers a principled alternative. It's time for common sense and courage in Canadian politics. There's a lot of talk about the PPC splitting the vote with the Conservatives, and I'd like to address that point and explain maybe some of the differences in the party. The PPC are libertarians. We believe in a small government focus, and we want to drastically reduce the size and the role of the federal government. The Conservatives support a smaller government in theory, but has often maintained or increased spending once they get into power. The PPC committed to balancing the budget quickly by eliminating corporate welfare, foreign aid, and reducing federal bureaucracy. The Conservatives promised to reduce spending, but has not offered an aggressive or specific cuts, and historically have ran deficits while in power. The PPC is strongly nationalist. We oppose UN influence, World Health Organization overreach, and global climate agreements. We want to leave the Paris Climate Accord. The PPC would scrap all carbon taxes and green subsidies, believing that climate change hurts Canadians economically, whereas the Conservative Party proposes an alternate carbon pricing scheme and supports some green incentives. So they support international cooperation and climate agreements though more cautiously than the Liberals. The People's Party would put a moratorium or 0 immigrants that we would allow into the country until we have the infrastructure in place to handle a larger population. We would then limit immigration to 150,000 a year, focusing on economic and immigrant integration. Whereas the Conservatives support high levels of immigration, typically 500,000 a year, although they did come down to a lower limit for the immediate future of 250,000, which is the limit that we were supposed to have for the last number of years. They don't want, they do want better vetting and economic alignment. The PPC fully opposes lockdowns, mandates, and vaccine passports, defends personal medical freedom and bodily autonomy. The CPC has criticized liberal mandates, but many CPC MPs supported them early on, with their position softening over time. The People's Party opposes all forms of censorship, including Bills C-11 and C-18, and defends absolute free speech rights. The Conservatives also oppose Bill C-11 and Bill C-18, but tend to balance free speech with regulations in certain areas, for example, maybe hate speech laws. The PPC would repeal all liberal gun bans and defend the right to own firearms for self-defense and sport. The Conservatives promise to reverse Trudeau's ban, but is more moderate in tone. The People's Party allows open debates on topics like abortion and MAID, and many candidates are pro-life, and the party encourages discussion. Whereas the Conservatives avoid the discussing abortion or the MAID service. The leader Pierre Poilievre has said he will not reopen any of the debates on these issues. In healthcare, the PPC wants to respect provincial jurisdiction, reduce the federal interference, and allow private options alongside of public care, whereas the Conservatives support strengthening public healthcare systems and less vocal on privatization. In short, the People's Party of Canada is unapologetically bold, focused on personal liberty, national sovereignty, and radical fiscal reform. The Conservative Party is more mainstream, cautious, and focused on gradual change within the current system. So those are some of the main differences between the Conservatives and the People's Party of Canada. But there are many other different issues, and I'm going to address some of those issues right now. Some of our policies is what I would like to discuss. Now, on the economy, Canada's economy is on life support, and the Liberals, Conservatives, and NDPs are the ones who've pulled the plug. Trudeau, Poilievre, and Singh, and now Carney, all believe in the same failed recipe: reckless spending, high taxes, endless regulations, and printing money like there's no tomorrow. The People's Party of Canada has a real plan to fix it. We will balance the budget in the first year, not in 10 years, not just someday, but we will be cutting corporate welfare, foreign aid, and Ottawa's waste. We'll slash income and business taxes, end the capital taxes on your home, and put money back in your pocket. We'll stop the inflation scam at the Bank of Canada, end carbon taxes, unleash our energy sector, and get government out of the way so that Canadians can build, invest, and prosper again. If you're tired of the lies, the inflation, and the slow death of opportunity in this country, then it's time to fight back. How will we make life more affordable for Canadians? Well, the Canadians are being crushed by skyrocketing costs, and the Liberals, Conservatives, and NDP are all to blame. Trudeau and Poilievre voted to print hundreds of billions of dollars, $400 billion to be exact, fueling the worst inflation in decades, while you struggle to pay for gas, groceries, and heating. The People's Party of Canada will do what the establishment parties won't. We will balance the budget immediately by ending corporate welfare, foreign aid giveaways, and media bribes. We'll stop the Bank of Canada's reckless money printing and bring back sound money. We'll cut income taxes, lower business tax, and eliminate the carbon tax, because you deserve to keep more of your hard-earned money. The other parties will keep taxing you into poverty. Only the PPC will fight for your wallet, your family, and your future. Now, small business is something that the PPC is very interested in. The small business owners, are the unsung heroes of Canada. They take risks, work endless hours, mortgage their homes, and sacrifice time in their families, all to build something better for their communities and for their country. But today, government pushes their success. High taxes, endless red tape, lockdowns, and corporate bailouts have pushed thousands of smaller businesses to the brink. The People's Party of Canada will change that. We will lower taxes, slash red tape, and stop favoring giant corporations over working Canadians. We believe that when government gets out of the way, small business thrives. And when small business thrives, so does Canada. If you want a future where hard work is rewarded, not punished, where you can build your dream without asking Ottawa for permission, then stand with the PPC. Immigration seems to be one of the major issues that no one is talking about. In the English debate, they wouldn't even discuss it in the debate, which Maxim was not allowed to participate in. Immigration is driving up home prices, overwhelming our social services and making it harder for Canadians to find jobs. The People's Party of Canada is the only party with the courage to face the truth. We need to pause immigration growth until we can properly support our housing infrastructure and social services. We'll prioritize skilled workers who can immediately contribute to our economy, not just flood the country with anyone who can get in. We'll end government funding for divisive multiculturalism programs that don't build unity, they only tear us apart. And we'll ensure that immigrants embrace Canadian values, freedom and democracy and individual rights, the very things that made our country great. Immigration should be measured and beneficial, not reckless, not politically motivated, and definitely not put Canada at risk. It's time to stop the political games and protect what matters most. Should Canada support refugees and asylum seekers? Well, Canada has always been a compassionate country, but our refugee system is being abused by those people who skip the legal process and enter illegally. This is not fair for Canadians, and it's certainly not fair for the real refugees who need our help. The People's Party of Canada will fix this by prioritizing genuine refugees, those fleeing war, persecution, or violence, rather than accepting illegal immigrants who bypass our legal immigration system. We will be focusing on private refugee sponsorships instead of burdening taxpayers with costly, ineffective government programs. Canadians are generous and want to help those in need, but we need to be fair and need a fair and controlled system. Our resources are limited, and we must ensure that the people we bring into our country are the ones who truly need protection, and not those who just want to cheat the system. Healthcare. Well, what reforms does the People's Party of Canada have for healthcare? Well, Canada's healthcare system is broken. There are long wait times, doctor shortages, and overcrowded hospitals. That run a government-run monopoly in failing Canadians. The People's Party is ready to fix this disaster. We'll decentralize healthcare, giving provinces the flexibility to introduce private sector involvement along public care so that they can experiment and find solutions that actually work. We'll encourage competition in healthcare services to increase efficiency, reduce wait times, and give Canadians better access to care. We'll support alternative and naturopathic medicine by recognizing the integrating natural healing methods into our healthcare system, giving Canadians more choice in how they care for their health. We'll increase healthcare funding by cutting wasteful government spending. No more throwing your tax dollars at foreign aid, corporate welfare, and media handouts. We don't need more bureaucracy and government control. We need innovation and efficiency. And let's embrace all forms of healthcare that empower Canadians to make the right choices for themselves. One of the things that was a major issue back in 2021 was how the government handled the pandemic, and how would the PPC handle it differently. Well, the Liberal government's response to COVID-19 was authoritarian and disastrous. It violated Canadian rights, destroyed businesses, and shattered public trust in government institutions. The People's Party of Canada will never make that same mistake. We will never impose lockdowns, vaccine mandates, or forced closures that devastate the economy and trample on individual rights. We will end federal funding for the World Health Organization, ensuring outside influence has no say in Canada's health policies. We will ensure transparent, science-based responses that respect individual freedom and medical choice, because your health decisions are none of the government's business. No government should ever have the power to force people out of work, to shut down local businesses, and only allow major corporations to open their doors. It never made sense to me, and it didn't make sense to an awful lot of the business owners. The PPC is there for you. We would never deny medical care or personal health choices. The PPC will protect your rights, your freedoms, and your livelihood. Well, how would Canada or the PPC address the doctors and nurses shortages? Well, Canada's healthcare system is collapsing because of decades of government incompetence. And now the establishment parties want to cover it up by bringing in foreign doctors and nurses instead of fixing the mess that they created in the first place. And that's wrong. The PPC will prioritize Canadian healthcare workers first by ending bureaucratic red tape that drives them out of the system. We'll make it easier for qualified professionals already here to work, not open the floodgate to foreign hires who may not meet Canadian standards. We'll invest in training more Canadian doctors and nurses, not outsource our healthcare system to temporary Band-Aid solutions. And we'll end vaccine mandates immediately, bringing back the fired heroes that the government betrayed. Canadians deserve a better healthcare system built by and for Canadians, not a patchwork system of cheap foreign labor to prop up a broken system. The PPC will stand for real solutions, not globalist shortcuts. Climate change. This one's a real issue for the PPC. The PPC rejects radical climate alarmism that's crippling Canada's economy while doing virtually nothing for the planet. We will tear up the Paris Climate Accord and end Canada's disastrous job-killing emissions promises. We will abolish the carbon tax, a scam that robs Canadians every time they drive to work or try to put food on the table. We will unleash Canada's energy and resource development, creating jobs and growing our economy while using innovation, not government tyranny, to reduce emissions. And we will put Canada first, not sacrifice our prosperity on the global or the altar of globalists and climate hysteria. It doesn't mean that the PPC is against making sure that our environment is clean and protected. We will do everything, but we're not going to burden you with the cost of all this hysteria. You know, if we were to listen to someone like Al Gore, I think we were supposed to be, New York was supposed to be underwater by 2011. Greta Thunberg told us that by 2030 the planet won't, pretty much laid it out that the planet won't exist. It is now 2025. In 5 years, we're all supposed to die. I don't know exactly what that means, but Canada only produces 1.5% of the global emissions. Yet it's our workers, our farmers, and our families who are paying the price for these reckless climate cult policies. The PPC stands for common sense, protecting the environment without destroying the livelihoods of every Canadian. On national debt and government spending, Canada's national debt is out of control, over $1.2 trillion, and it's growing every day because of how the reckless spending of both the Liberals and Conservatives have happened. Canadians are now paying $1 billion every week just to cover the interest on this debt, money that should be going to healthcare, infrastructure, and lower taxes. The PPC will balance the budget within the first year by eliminating wasteful programs, corporate welfare, and government handouts. We will stop sending billions in foreign aid and put Canadian families first. We will slash bloated bureaucracies and cut the size of government. No more agencies that waste your hard-earned money, and we will shrink equalization payments, forcing provinces to stand on their own 2 feet instead of mooching off taxpayers in other parts of the country. While Canadians struggle for inflation, skyrocketing groceries, and crushing taxes, Ottawa keeps burning your money. The PPC will end the insanity. We will stop the overspending, restore fiscal sanity, and give Canadians back control over their futures. Are we just about done here? Okay, well, I'm just going to summarize some things. Again, the People's Party of Canada is against the Paris Accord. We will abolish capital gains tax. On taxing Canadians, there will be no tax on the first $15,000, 15% income tax on the next $85,000, and 25% income tax on anything over $100,000. And this will all be paid for by a shrinking big government. And I thank you for your time. Thank you.
You've been listening to Kevin Dupuis, the People's Party of Canada candidate for Kitchener-Conestoga on Meet the Candidate. The views expressed were those of the candidate, not necessarily those of the Radio Waterloo Board of Directors, volunteers, sponsors, or advertisers. All Waterloo Region candidates were invited to meet the candidate, but some candidates have declined to appear on the radio, and some have not responded at all. Remember, the election is on Monday, the 28th of April. Show notes, podcast, and video will be available shortly on the Radio Waterloo website at radiowaterloo.ca/MTC. The show is produced by me, Bob Jonkman, in the studios of CKMS-FM. The theme music is Falling Sky by Jason Shaw of Audionautics.com and used under Creative Commons Attribution Only 4.0 International License.